Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Friday, December 4th, 2015, around 7:30 in the evening in Billerica, Massachusetts. It's dark out. It's going to go down to the 30s tonight. Cold, but we'll rebound to the lower 50s. Sunday's going to be a great day. Could be close to 60 in some areas. No snow in sight, which is good news. Some news to report, sad news to report in the world of Hollywood. Actor Robert Loggia passed away at the age of 85. He's one of the most famous character actors of all time. And it's Happy National Cookie Day. Hopefully you got a cookie today. And Red Sox pitcher David Price is going to wear number 24. He can't wear 14 because it's retired by Jim Rice, so he has to wear 24. 24 should be retired for Dwight Evans, but that won't ever happen because they'll get confused with another 24, Manny Ramirez. And the Chicago Cubs signed pitcher John Lackey to a 2-year contract with $32 million, $16 million a year for 2016 and 2017. And that's about it on the news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is about the late great professional wrestler Bruiser Brody. Bruiser Brody was kind of a wrestling outlaw and stuff, a renegade wrestler. He would bounce from promotion to promotion to promotion. He was very unique and stuff, but he passed away too young in 1988. Tell you more about that later on in the blog. Bruiser Brody was born in Detroit, Michigan, under the name Frank Goodish, and he grew up in suburban Detroit, Michigan, and he was an all-state football player and basketball player. He went to West Texas University to play on the football team. Many professional wrestlers played football at West Texas, including Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch, Stan the Lariat Hansen, Tully Blanchard, Terry Funk, Tito Santana, and so many others. And Frank was such a good football player that he was drafted by the Washington Redskins, but he was on the taxi squad for a couple of years. He never played an NFL game. After Frank's football career was over, he settled down in San Antonio, Texas to become a sports writer of all things. And eventually, Frank met professional wrestler and promoter Fritz von Erich, and he wanted to get into professional wrestling. Fritz trained him, and in 1973, Frank Goodish made his debut. He wrestled as Frank Goodish for a while. Then he grew out his hair because he was short hair when he was a sports writer. He grew out his hair and grew a beard. And he wrestled for a few territories under his real name. He had a caveman look. Then in 1976, Frank went to the WWF, and he was rechristened as Bruiser Brody. He had a caveman look, and he was managed by the Grand Wizard of Wrestling. He had a feud with Bruno Sammartino over the WWF title. He had 2 matches with him at Madison Square Garden. One time, he won the WWF title, but the referee caught him with his foot on the ropes for leverage, so that nullified the victory. And later on, Bruno beat him in a Texas Death Match. Bruiser stayed for the WWF for a few more months. He had a confrontation with Jose Gonzalez, who was a preliminary wrestler in the WWF at the time, and Jose refused to sold him. He left the WWF in early 1997 because he had an argument with Vince McMahon Sr. and he almost came to blows with Vince McMahon Sr., but Gorilla Monsoon broke it up, and Bruiser was basically blackballed from wrestling in the Northeast ever again. He went to several other territories under the Bruiser Brody name all over the NWA, but every time he would have to do a job, he would refuse to sell, plus he got in disputes with pay for many promoters. And eventually Bruiser was very successful wrestling for All Japan and New Japan in the Far East. And he teamed with Sandal Lariat Hansen in All Japan, and he also had a feud with Antonio Inoki in New Japan. Bruiser Brody was very loyal to Giant Bubba in All Japan Wrestling. In the 1980s, Bruiser mainly worked in the United States for southern promotions such as Southwestern Championship Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling. Bruiser Brody was a fan favorite in both territories, and he had a legendary feud with Abdullah the Butcher in Southwest Championship Wrestling. Their feuds were bloody cage matches and stuff, and also in World Class, he feuded with Stigandor, Art Akbar's Devastation Incorporated, and Gary Hart's stable. And once in a while, Bruiser Brody would lose or leave town much in those territories. But a mass wrestler called Red River Jack, who bore the resemblance of Bruiser Brody, would always come to save the day and stuff and feud with Gary Hart's Army or Devastation Incorporated, and it was Bruiser Brody under mask. But one time, it wasn't Bruiser Brody under the mask. It was played by Mark Calloway, who turned out to be The Undertaker. Also, Bruiser Brody worked behind the scenes on World Class Championship Wrestling as a booker and one of the producers for the show. And from time to time, Bruiser would travel to the AWA as a heel. He was named King Kong Brody because there was another Bruiser in the AWA, Dick the Bruiser, and he had to change it to King Kong Brody. He was a heel managed by Sheik Adnan Al-Kelsey. He feuded with Greg Gagne and Vern Gagne and Superfly Jimmy Snuka, among others, in the AWA. He even teamed with Abdullah the Butcher. And also, Bruiser went to Championship Wrestling from Florida, and he feuded with Lex Luger and stuff, but he no-sold stuff to Lex Luger several times when Luger was a rookie and stuff like that. There were a few times that Bruiser Brody was approached by Vince McMahon Jr. to come to the WWE in the mid to late 80s, but they could not come to an agreement because Bruiser did not want to give up his lucrative deals to Japan and stuff. Plus, Bruiser had a reputation of being like no selling and stuff and walking out on promotions if he didn't get his way. And Vince McMahon thought Bruiser Brody in the WWE would mean big money and a potential big feud with Hulk Hogan and stuff, but that never came to be and stuff. And also, Bruiser Brody wrestled in Puerto Rico for WWC. Originally, he was a heel, feuding with Carlos Colon there for many years, but eventually Bruiser feuded with Abdullah the Butcher, and he turned face because Abdullah was probably the most hated wrestler in Puerto Rico and stuff. By 1988, Bruiser Brody was just wrestling on small independent shows in the United States. He was mainly wrestling in Japan and Puerto Rico, and he still continued that feud with Abdullah the Butcher. On July 16th, 1988, in Puerto Rico, in between the matches, Bruiser Brody was taking a shower. Then Jose Gonzalez, who's a mass wrestler called Invader #1, had a show and talked to Bruiser Brody for a minute. Jose Gonzalez stabbed Bruiser Brody repeatedly in the stomach, and Bruiser Brody he had liver lacerated, kidneys punctured, collapsed lung, and there was so much commotion backstage. Jose Gonzalez showered and walked out of the arena saying nothing had happened. Many of the wrestlers saw Bruiser Brody go down, including Tony Atlas and Carlos Colon. And Bruiser Brody told Carlos Colon that, please take care of my boy for me, because Bruiser Brody was married. He had a wife named Barbara, who was from New Zealand, and one son named Jeffrey. And Bruiser Brody, it took them an hour to get him to the hospital because there was mass confusion, so much commotion backstage. Bruiser Brody was dead on arrival to the hospital, and his wife Barbara was called from her house in New Mexico, and she was told just to come to Puerto Rico. That Bruiser's been in an accident, and he's rushed to the hospital. And when Barbara got there, she was told that Bruiser Brody died, and that was very sad. Bruiser Brody was only 42 years old, and it was such a tragedy and stuff, because Bruiser Brody was like one of the best brawlers in professional wrestling history and stuff. He could have been a WWE superstar if he toned down his reputation and stuff, but it wasn't meant to be for him. He's been named to several Wrestling Hall of Fames posthumously, but he's never been inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. I read a few books about Bruiser Brody. They're pretty interesting and stuff. They're amazing. I have a Bruiser Brody action figure from classic WWE when I brought out Legend Series years ago. It looks like he's a caveman. And that's about it on Bruiser Brody. That's about it on these video blogs, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Be back tomorrow, but only 2 video blogs tomorrow because I have stuff to do. First video blog will be about the top 10 sports athletes ever to wear the number 29. And the second video blog will be about the history of the AWA World Championship. And that's about it. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunny guy. Molly Rosenblatt of Fox 35 rocks and has nice legs. And Elizabeth Hutt so stunning. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out. And that's about it. Bye now.